Emeka was 15, but his life felt like a long dark road. He had been abandoned as a baby, left at the village square under the big Iroko tree. No one knew who his parents were, and he had no family to call his own. He grew up in the village orphanage, a small place run by Mama Nkechi, a kind woman who tried her best, but there was never enough food or clothes for all the children. Emeka often felt invisible, like a shadow moving through the village, always alone. One cold evening, as Emeka sat by the dusty road, a tall stranger appeared in the village. He wore a long brown coat and had a scar across his cheek. The stranger's eyes fell on Emeka, and for a moment Emeka felt a shiver run down his spine. The stranger smiled, but there was something strange in his eyes. "Who is that?" Emeka whispered to himself, feeling both fear and curiosity. The next day, Emeka found a small box outside the orphanage door. It was wrapped in the old cloth. Emeka carefully opened it and found a silver pendant inside. It had a carving of an eagle with wings spread wide. Mama Nkechi saw it and gasped. "This is not something to play with," she warned. "It is a sign of trouble," but Emeka felt drawn to the pendant like it was calling him. That night, Emeka dreamt a great eagle flying above a dark forest. The eagle had the same eyes as the stranger. When he woke up, he heard whispers outside his window. The wind seems to carry a voice that said, "Find the truth, Emeka." His heart raced. What truth? Was the pendant a clue to his past? He decided he had to find out. Emeka knew there was a forest at the edge of the village that no one dared to enter. The villagers said it was cursed, filled with spirits and wild animals, but Emeka felt he had to go there. Maybe the answers to his questions were hidden in the shadows of those trees. He packed some bread and water and set off at dawn, his heart beating fast. The forest was thick and dark with tall trees that blocked out the sun. Emeka walked for hours, feeling the leaves crunch under his feet. Strange sounds filled the air, birds cawing, leaves rustling, and the wind whistling through the branches. Suddenly, he heard footsteps behind him. He turned, but there was no one there. His heart pounded in his chest. Was someone following him? Emeka reached a small river and decided to rest. As he sat on a rock, an old man appeared on the other side of the river. He had a long white beard and wore a robe made of leaves. "What are you looking for, young boy?" the old man asked in a deep voice. Emeka hesitated, but then showed him the pendant. The old man's eyes widened. "Ha! The eagle has found its way home," he murmured. "Follow me." The old man led Emeka to a hidden cave behind a waterfall. Inside, the walls were covered with drawings of eagles and strange symbols. "This is the secret of your past," the old man said. "Your parents were special, but they were hunted by those who feared their power. You must find the village of the eagles." Emeka felt a mixture of fear and hope. He had always wanted to know who he was, but now it seemed even more. As Emeka left the cave, the old man gave him warning. "Be careful, boy. Not everyone wants you to find the truth. Some will try to stop you." Emeka nodded, gripping the pendant tightly. He felt both scared and determined. He had to find the village of the eagles, whatever it took. On his way back to the village, Emeka heard a rustling in the bushes. Before he could react, a figure jumped out, swinging a wooden stick. Emeka ducked and ran, but the figure chased him. Emeka's heart raced as he zigzagged through the trees, barely avoiding the stick that flew past his head. Who was this person? Why were they attacking him? Emeka reached a hill and saw a small village below, hidden among the trees. He knew this must be the village of the eagles. He took a deep breath and walked down the hill. The villagers looked at him with curious eyes. An old woman came forward and smiled. "We have been waiting for you, Emeka," she said softly. The old woman led Emeka to a small hut where she showed him an old picture of a man and a woman. "These are your parents," she said. Emeka's eyes filled with tears. "Why did they leave me?" he asked. The woman sighed. "They didn't want to, but they had no choice. They were protecting you from the enemies who feared the power of the ego." Just as Emeka started to understand his past, a loud noise came from the forest. The enemies had returned, and they were angry. The villagers rushed to hide, but Emeka stood his ground. He knew he had to protect his new family, just as his parents had protected him. The enemies charged into the village, but Emeka was ready. He remembered the pendant and felt its power surge through him. The enemies tried to grab him, but he dodged and weaved, using the skills he had learned while surviving in the village. His bravery inspired the villagers, who fought back with all their strength. In the midst of the battle, Emeka held up the pendant, and suddenly a great eagle appeared in the sky, its wing wide and strong. The enemy froze in fear, their weapons falling from their hands. The eagle let out a loud cry, and the enemy ran away, terrified. The villagers cheered, and Emeka felt a warmth in his heart. The battle was over, but Emeka knew his journey had just begun. He was no longer the abandoned orphan. He was Emeka, the boy of the eagle. The villagers welcomed him as one of their own, and for the first time Emeka felt the belonging. He had found his family, his purpose, and his strength. The sun set over the village, but Emeka knew his new life was just beginning. This story is about finding courage, family, and the power hidden within ourselves. Emeka's journey reminds us that even when we feel lost, there is always a path waiting for us to discover. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I kindly request you, if you're new here, please subscribe, like, and share my videos. Thank you so much once again. Let's meet in my next story. I love you.